Welcome to the 1 Million Years of Joy podcast. I'm Dr. Andrea Benaker, your host, and my intention is to inspire you to find more joy in your life through the stories from our guests and the science on joy and purpose. Nathan, welcome. It's such a pleasure to have you with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Nathan, I want to go back to your roots before we dive into the beautiful work that you do today. Can you take us to your childhood? I know you were born in Thailand, you lived in India, and then while you were a teenager, you came to Canada for your studies. Take us through that journey of changing countries and the values that your family has instilled in you that have shaped who you are today.
I would say I start with my family, right? And I grew up in the single parent family. My mom, she started her own business with my dad, but unfortunately he passed away when I was 5. She was having 4 children and she needed to take care of all of them by herself. And this is in Thailand where there's no social support. And so she's a role model, and she wanted to make sure that all of us have equal opportunity, which is education. So when I was 14, my mom offered me if I want to go to India to study. I was adventurous pre-teenager, so I said yes. So I went to India, wanted to learn English, and I was in boarding school. It put you in different environment because suddenly in the next day you don't speak the language and you don't understand the culture. It was a British system in India, but still it was very traditional. That the way how we have to behave, there's a warden, so you adapt. And it taught you that life is what you seek. It's not given to you. So I told myself to be better to study and to be good in what I was doing, even if I didn't speak the language at the time. So I was there for 5 years, and then I applied to McGill in Canada, and I came here. I was studying everything except English, the language, French. I just chose science and math, and I did microbiology, and then I got accepted to McGill, and I stayed. So that's how I ended up in Canada.
What were some of the core values that were instilled in you by your mother that have influenced your desire to shift away from becoming a clinical researcher as a result of your studies and venture yourself into entrepreneurship and to create your own brand?
I think I would say entrepreneurship because, she made things happen. And she had nothing, and then she built everything from her own ability. And I aspire to that, right? Once she get there, however, I know that she gave a lot of time giving. Giving can come in different forms. Like she helped her family, she helped her friends, she helped her clients. And she make a difference. And that's what I like to be, right? And then that's what I hold it. My value is, of course, you don't take things for granted. You need to prove to yourself in life, that you have ability to do so. You don't assume that you have the skill or be that person that was given to you. The entrepreneurship gave me a platform for me to prove, and I like to prove that to myself that I was able to do it. And that's what I was attracted to. Then you found a business model, business plan. Then you don't know what's going to happen. You risk it all, and you started it. And for me, to be able to start something, to be proud of what you do, and to be confident, and also to be able to give back, I think that would be something I take it from my mom.
So let's talk in more detail about how you've created your brand that integrates both art, technology, and connection to the community. Can you tell us what's super unique about the creations that you're bringing into this world?
Oh, it's very kind of unique. I think my brand is just an extension of me. Um, we use technology where we scan the body. We walk into the machine, and within 10 seconds, we're able to get 450 measurements within your body. That's my science side because you look at the consistency, you look at the way to do things easier to reduce manual error. That's more of something you're looking at. But what I mean by the brand extension of me, technology, people focus so much about technology, but technology, don't forget, solve problem. I'm not an IP company, but we use technology to solve what value that you create. Because starting a business, you need to add value to your client. You have to be specific. And what I'm offering is, yes, we do design, we do custom made men's suits or custom men's wear, but I wanted to be special because the whole journey of getting something made, the industry has been, lack of a better term, bastardized, that you can get anything made now. But I look at it as industry as an art form, right? You need to understand the customer, who they are, and you be able to create something for them by understanding their story. And what do I create? I want it to be special. I want it a piece of art because I think people don't look at clothes the same way that we used to 100 years ago. People back at a time would have a few pieces of clothes because it was so expensive. Now we have plenty and we're polluting the environment. So I want to create something that's meaningful that they can keep. So I want the artwork, the creation to be an artwork by putting an artwork itself. So each jacket that we create, if you see, you'll be seeing it eventually. I would want to show that to you. It's an artwork from an organization called Les Impatients. They do therapeutic art program for participants or patients with mental health. So the participant will come and create art for themselves, not to sell, for themselves. Because the way to express something, sometimes with mental health, you just have no word to describe. But as an artist, as an individual, we have expression. And sometimes we just choose to create, not by speaking, by creating. At the journey, helping them to be who they are by creating, allowing them to discover who they really are or what they want to be. And I take that story of my artist, my participant, and I tell that to my customer. I know because I want them to relate to the cause about art, but also about the cause of mental health, because these are the artists who struggle. Mental health is something is difficult to speak. I just want to show the beautiful side of it, that it didn't have to be an uncomfortable conversation. It could be something very deep and meaningful by just looking at artwork. Each artworks are numbered, and it will be residing. We do the same process as you buy a piece of art, but instead of on the wall, it is inside the creation that I made. And I want my customer to understand the story and know the story of my artist.
So this is the sample, of course, to show people what we do. As you mentioned, that I want each piece to be an artwork. If you look at an artwork on the inside, you see the artist is Sergio Larenas. He is the participant and artist from Les Impatients. He's our patient. So if you look at his artwork, his story is, you can tell from his last name, he's Latino. And it's colorful. It tells where he come from. But if you look, there's no limit how it defines who he is, because you tend to stereotype, oh, you're from Latin America, you participant from mental health, this is who you are. And what I like about it is his identity. You see, it's more than just one, and there's no border, there's no limit in terms of what he can create.
Beautiful. And in fact, a portion of your proceeds go to mental health initiatives. Why is mental health so important for you, and why did you choose this specific philanthropic cause?
I was always drawn to a story, and in design, you like something that's pretty. And I used to work in clinical research. We used to bring art therapy to children, and I remember that it gave children lives from someone who's very tired, low energy. When you bring a atelier about art therapy to children, they come back to life, and you see, they have a moment of happiness. As a child, I forgot about the sickness, and I was looking for that. And then because it's not about the cost at the time. To be honest, I want to find organization that match my value. And mental health with Les Impatients was one organization that I feel like I connected to. At the time, funny things, like I've been supporting mental health for many, many years, learning the story. And after the COVID, you find yourself, hitting this issue to yourself really hard, and to be more aware. It just creates another dimension on how you look into the cause. And finding the right partner in business is important, as entrepreneur or business investor would say. But for me, I just want to do something that's meaningful. And then as I was doing the work, I tell people that, of course, you can. Sometimes people support a cause that they've been affected to. And I tell people, you don't have to be a victim to support a cause. And at the time, I thought this value was closer to me, and I could be value added to organization and my creation. And I chose mental health because it's something, running a small business. You can ask any entrepreneur, we have to be strong. We have to don't show any sign of weakness. But in reality, this is something we don't talk about. So for me, after the COVID, I want to be more real. I want to be honest with myself and create different dimension of myself. So mental health was something that I can contribute and add value when it started. I didn't know it was going to connect with me in a deeper value until you actually face these challenges yourself. So.
And I know in recent years, you've actually integrated in your designs a citrine stone on the sleeve of each jacket. Can you tell us more about that?
Every creation, this is what I mean, we put citrine stone inside. Men tend to play with the button, they come off. They often come back and give it to me to fix it all the time. So I thought, why don't you play with this? This is a citrine stone. It is, the meaning of the stone is plenty, abundance, just like my last name. The stone has been blessed in a temple. I just want people to wear my creation to be plenty and abundance in everything they wish for. Emotions, love. And I want good things only happen to everyone. Of course, I have limitation. I cannot do that to everyone, so I'll give it to my customer.
What is the biggest source of joy in your life today?
Joy to me is a journey. It's not the end result. We all seek for the happiness, because if we get that, we'll be happy. Life, unfortunately, never stops. Right? It's not a result, but it's a state of being for me, because it constantly changes too. Right? Life, only thing that's certain is change. We need to be able to adapt to things that throw at you. It's about the mindset, and in the recent years and recent months, I've been facing with big challenges in my life. And you look in terms of, when you go through a situation, you start looking into, because we have to be positive. We need to appreciate things that we have. So I told myself, joy is a state of being. You need to practice present moment, compassion, gratitude, positivity. And you need to constantly work on yourself to be happy, to find joy, because joy is not the result. People look at, if I have that, if I'm successful. But those are subjective, I find. You can be joyful anywhere, but that's within you. And you will continue to bombard it with challenges. But you need to be able to find joy at the situation where you are. Life is full of challenge, and you will be faced with all this of struggle in life, but you have to find joy out of it, because we need to be happy. We deserve to be. And sometimes it's out of our control. That's why the only thing we can control is our mindset. So that's what we need to work on.
Take me to your younger days and your view on joy at that time. Has there been an evolution?
I think, what was important for me at the time when I was young, I wanted, as a teenager years, I wanted to be like someone else. I wanted to speak English. I want to, look good. But now, when you're older, things become less relevant. I started business because my ego was too big. I wanted to be successful. I wanted success. Is it because of how many employees that you have, the sales that you do, how many people that you know, your network? Mm. I think successful is as long as you do what you love and you continue to do that and you have a purpose, that is successful. Doesn't matter what outcome. To have ability to do what you wanted to do, that is success. So for me, when I was younger, I just like everyone else, right? Like now with TikTok, with Instagram, it would probably be very hard for the children today to be compared with those tools that given to them. And now I'm trying to not able to compare, to focus on myself, and for me, success is subjective. I told myself that if I'm able to, my goal is to be simple, to be centered, to have a freedom. And freedom, you can define how you like to be. Of course, I'm not a billionaire when I can stop working, but to have a freedom to do what you want. Ability to exercise, be healthy, spend time with your loved one, with your partner. Appreciate the moment that you have. I think that's successful, no?
Mm-hmm. Oh. And through your journey, I know you have had many collaborations with various artists. One particular one recently relates to the Riopelle Foundation. And in the year when he would have turned 100, tell us more about that.
It was an honor, my gosh, to be able to work with the foundation and with the daughter, Giselle Riopelle, herself. I was drawn to the story. Of course, his work you can see for yourself. He's amazing genius in terms of his creation. I wanted to tell the story. And the artwork that we did was a painting between Madame Akpo and Riopelle. It's choreography onto the silk. And I want to tell the story of the friendship. And Madame Akpo is iconic for Quebec society. I would say she's a feminist. And at the time, in the 50s and when she started her career, and to be able to tell the story of her success with Riopelle, and to tell the story of friendship. And to me, that's what I was drawn to. And the story comes first, then it comes the visual. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to recreate that story into a present day when it would have turned 100. So we'll be making an artwork on silk, 100 piece only, limited edition. So,
can you share with us other key projects that you're enthusiastic about moving forward?
Okay. Actually, surprisingly, I like design more than I have anticipated. Mm-hmm. I know I liked it, but I'm actually currently designing my own showroom, a new one, and my own home. So we express ourselves different way in different medium. People would expect me, running business, to be creating custom suit. This is what you make, right? And I would tell people I'm an aspired artist. I express myself, and to be able to create and design in different medium. That's a project I'm currently taking on. And you design the space. It's not so much of make it pretty. To me, you design the feeling of the environment you're in. So I'm doing that for my own project. It's been, it's under the designing execution right now, and that I'm very excited and sometimes I'm doing things for myself, maybe it'll turn into something, but as a business, you always think what's in it for me. But I told myself to be okay to do things that it didn't have to give money or monetary back to you, because life is not all about money. It gives you joy at the moment when you create it. So that's a project I'm be working on in 2024, is different medium of creation, design. I'm learning through the whole process. But at the end, the conclusion is the same. I designed the emotions. So that's what I'm excited.
Imagine there was a time capsule in which you would put one of your creations. What emotions would you like for it to evoke when the person, let's say 100 years from now, will be opening that time capsule?
Definitely a story. I would craft a story that I want people to remember. Not so much of my legacy. I find it's too egotistic from the design point of view. I wouldn't want to focus on myself, but I would put one of my favorite artwork from Les Impatients. My very first piece actually is with the general director of Les Impatients. He's actually wearing it. That was the first piece I created. It's an artwork from the artist. His name is Larry Vick. And his work is beautiful. It's in one of the videos I could show you as well. I particularly drawn to his story because when he created artwork, he have a condition, I think you would call it anxiety. And myself have some of that as well. So artwork was a way for him to express. His artwork usually takes him 8 months to finish. And then he will consistently drawing and painting with pencil to create each artwork. It shows determination. What I like about it is because you don't talk about the mental health, you talk about him. Because I think we live in a society where we cherish our value based on our worth. I just want him to be himself with artist, beautiful work, and that was one of the first pieces that I made, and he's wearing it. That's a story I want to tell. That people, even if as for me as designer, quote unquote, we give our identity to who we are. But I like to think that I'm more than just an entrepreneur. I'm more than just a designer. I'm Nathan. And giving him this identity more than just someone who goes through the program and you see his artwork. And I want people to appreciate that. So that's what story I want to tell.
A lot of young students or designers are looking up at you and are very inspired by your journey, your accomplishments. What key messages would you like to share with them as they're determining which direction to go and what is the ideal way forward?
I'm flattered. I don't think I'm successful if people are looking up to me, but if I could tell them, I would say be authentic, be confident, and be purposeful. I feel like we're living in a world where, we can create anything with AI, with anything, we can create things. And I want the creation to be value added. For me, I want people to have emotion attached to the creation because I want people to keep that piece for a long time. That's my value. And you can put a business plan and the story around it, but at the bottom line, I don't want people to own too many stuff. I want people to concentrate and focus on what they have. And that's a value that I like to remind my customer and who comes to me. And for those one who create, technology has help us to get this far. We can create things instantaneously and things will continue to evolve. Like I said, technology is not the end of the equation. It's just a process to get you somewhere. So, be authentic, be confident, and be value-added and purposeful. So that's what I tell them, and you will discover the journey ugly and beautiful at the same time, and you do discover yourself the same way that I am discovering myself.
And talking about purpose, any advice on finding and pursuing your purpose?
It is hard. It's constantly battling and changing. Like I said, people have their crisis, and I did, and at some level, I'm still going through it. Sometimes people know what they want, and this is what they want to serve, but the purpose is beyond us. We tend to serve us first. That's important. You need to take care of yourself. But our purpose is beyond that, and I like to help and be value-added at people in different forms. So I have a value, and it can help Les Impatients, the art and culture community. And this is what I'm focusing now. Things may change. We change. Mm-hmm. And we do never know, we will never discover this is the purpose of your soul being. Like I said, it's a journey. So, at the end, focus less on yourself, focus on your friends. You don't have to be the philanthropist who dedicate your life giving, but of course, focus on other people, because for me, that's what gives me joy. To be able to help, to be there for my friends, for my community, to be nice, to be kind, to be loved. Of course, you need objective and purpose in life to continue the journey. Otherwise, you'll be lost. But you ask many young people, like even I, it's hard to find a purpose for yourself. You will continue to find and reshape your purpose. It doesn't have to be one. You expect you have one answer, right? And we can have multiple. But I always find that focus less on myself and focus more on other people. That's give me joy. If I can help, be value added, then that's a real joy that it wouldn't given me to help my partner, to help my friends, to help my customer. So be kind and honest and authentic. So,
in your view, what should we do as a society to create a more joyful world?
We're all different, right? I think we have different priority, and I think we focus a lot on ourselves. And as a human, we focus about us a lot and look at the environmental factors and things that contribute to our lives today. Because we're focusing on our being, how can we be more comfortable? How can we get more? I think as fun as it is, people need to want less, to own less, to be simple. Because joy is not about materialistic things. Funny, because I'm in materialistic world, like Madonna. But what I found out that, to me anyway, owning things is in fact a burden. That's how I look at it. I'm not a monk, but owning things is actually, you create pollution. Like to create something, you need to destroy something to create something all the time in different form, even philosophy. So I think we need to really go back to the basic. We are different. I don't have one specific reason, but I think if we all could realize is what is really important to them. But I find that we are very simple. We don't need a lot in this world of this being to be happy, to be joyful. By having less, make them focus what is really important to them. So for me, I would say a simplification.
Great. Nathan, it's been such a pleasure to speak with you today. Thank you so much for your time. I wish you continued success moving forward.